Recently, I was privileged to attend a Jets game. Someone was kind enough to invite me and my wife, and we had an unexpected thrill. It was really a great experience, and there's no doubt in the world that the Jets are the biggest show in town, bigger than the symphony and the opera and the ballet and all other cultural events combined. It's just a wonderful experience of sensory overload on all levels. Very, very exciting. And besides the home team won, that was nice. But I got a glimpse also into the extreme contrast that people experience when they come into synagogue. Synagogue is, if anything, the opposite of a Jets game. There's very little sensory stimulation. The stimulation in a synagogue service occurs on a whole different level, which is why I think that people have maybe a highly contrasting experience when they come into synagogue as compared to the rest of the experiences in their life. Coming to synagogue, you sit in what appears to be like an audience, and the bima appears to be like a stage, and then what goes on the stage is expected to be somewhat entertaining. It is actually highly dramatic what we're doing on the bima in the synagogue, but it's nothing like watching Netflix or the Jets or any movie or TV show. Rather, the drama is occurring on a subtler level. And one has to be attuned to that subtler level in order to be able to enjoy and appreciate the service and particularly the prayers properly. So what is that subtler level that I'm talking about? One has to be in a state of what I would call restful alertness. Restful alertness being, I would say, the essence of what a spiritual consciousness is all about. It's the essence of what Shabbat consciousness is all about. It's somewhere in between the usual extremes of experience that we have during the 6 days of the week. Usually we're either very relaxed, which is to say either almost asleep or asleep, or else we're very, very active, and we've had coffee, and we're very stimulated, and we're very active and energetic. And Shabbat actually is attempting to combine the best of both those worlds. It's an attempt to sustain activity on the level of settled consciousness, on the level of relaxed consciousness. Some would say that this is what it means to be awakened parasympathetically, according to that aspect of the nervous system which is involved with relaxed activities such as eating and breathing and the heartbeat and things that go on by themselves in an unconscious manner. So the parasympathetic mode, very different from being at a Jets game. In fact, when I was at the Jets game, I felt a little overwhelmed, and my heart actually was beating away. I could feel just the excitement of being there. If anything, synagogue is a state of de-excitation. And a lot of people, I think, are not comfortable with that. What does it take to get comfortable with it? I would say practice, practice, practice. It needs to be experienced and enjoyed on its own level and without any expectations, I would say a number of times consecutively. Not just once in a while, but maybe 2 or 3 times in a row, and one starts to get into the swing of it. If you were to go maybe a dozen times in a row, you would actually at that point become fairly familiar with the whole rhythm of the service, and you'd know many of the prayers. I think many things would come back to you from your childhood education, and you'd see what it's like to sit in a congregation and actually participate. It's a powerful experience. It's a sharing of minds and thoughts and feelings with the community that is unlike any other experience I think you can have, except maybe if you're at a Jets game and cheering for the home team. It's just that in this case we're cheering for God. That's the difference. And God is not to be found in an arena. If anything, one has to go to the arena within, and then one can encounter the Divine One. It's on a much different level than hockey. De-excitation, once again. But in de-excitation, there is tremendous joy and fulfillment that transcends, I would say, any experience that one can have in a hockey arena or even in a symphony hall. So here's an open invitation to join us on any Shabbat morning. Those who haven't been recently, you'll notice that the service is shorter than before. We begin at 9. When it's not a bar mitzvah, we finish usually by 11:30. When there is a bar mitzvah, we are usually done well before noon. So apportion your time appropriately. If you want to stay for an hour, you can come in an hour in advance. If you want to come for a half an hour, that's fine also. Any time you want to come is significant for us, and we will welcome you with open arms. So here is wishing you a Shabbat Shalom, and in my next video I'll try to get a little bit more specific about the prayer experience in synagogue. Again, Shabbat Shalom.